Ladies and gentlemen, we got updates. The next major update should be next month, and we're going to be talking about in this video how to prepare for the upcoming major update. Now, as you can see, currently the server level is at 542. If you look at the Hell difficulty, you will notice Paragon level 600 is when Hell 8 is going to start. Now, because it's pretty unrealistic to expect people to be any higher than like 14 levels above Paragon, we're really waiting for your server Paragon to hit about 486, 488, right around there. People are really going to start hitting that level. It's 44 levels until the server Paragon's at 486, which will be about possible to get to Hell 8. It's 2 levels per day, meaning we have 22 days until Hell 8 is going to arrive. Now, triple stat items are very rare to drop. If you're at Paragon level or higher, it is a 1% drop to get a triple stat item. The codex items are only going to give you the Hell difficulty you're currently on, meaning Hell 7 is your Paragon level, for instance, if you're in the 500s, so you're going to be receiving Hell 7 pieces of set equipment from the codex. You can't force this to drop you Hell 8s yet. This basically means that because you can stack only 3 of these, you should go ahead and do all of these until we get just a few days from Hell 8. For instance, in 22 days, people that are planning to be 14 levels above would be able to hit the Paragon 600, which would trigger the Hell 8 difficulty codex items to begin dropping. So in their scenario, then you would want to prepare and not do the codex set drops 3 days before in order for when that 3rd day arrives and you can hit that level, now you have all 3 guarantees of the codex. If you're very confused in what I'm explaining, I'm basically saying to save these right before you're going to be able to get to the Hell 8 difficulty in order to instantly get the 3 pities of Hell 8 items right when the Hell difficulty launches for you. This isn't a major deal if you forget to do this or you don't stack them, but it does cost you a few extra Hell 8 items of potential. Now, all the Hell 7 items that you're not going to keep to try to complete set pieces, etc., you can then crunch down here at the blacksmith, turn them into your wisps, which we can go to the shop, go to the Fable wisps here, and turn your Hell 7 of them, into a Hell 8. This means 7 Hell 7 items is worth 1 Hell 8 item. Because of this difference in terms of expense, where Hell 8 is so much more expensive than Hell 7, if we talk about their currency valuation, it's way better to farm Hell 8 items in advance than try to farm Hell 7 items now, crunch them down, and then craft Hell 8 items. This is different for set items and for legendary items. So legendary items, when you start farming advanced in Hell 8, you're going to be able to get some items. You might even be able to get triple stat items, but because it's based upon Paragon, it's going to be based upon the lowest version Paragon of that Hell difficulty. Let me give you an example and explain it more clear. So if you look at the Hell difficulty, if I was 450 Paragon, pre-farming from Hell 6 to Hell 7, and I got a Hell 7 item for the first time, it would drop at a 480 Paragon level that would be locked. I'd have to be 480 Paragon, and its stats would be associated with the 480 Paragon. Whereas set items are not associated with Paragon levels at all, meaning no matter when you farm them, they're just as important. For this reason, the best thing to do is farm the next difficulties dungeons first in order to farm the set items first. Then when you hit the difficulty is when you start farming the actual legendary items. This can be difficult, however, because even though the overworld and the standard world is going to be at 11,310 combat rating, for instance, on Hell 8, the combat rating required for the dungeons is just about 500 higher. This is fairly counterintuitive because what we want to do is farm the set items first and then the legendary items. Now, not to get too deep into this, but I think this is actually on purpose. I think what they've done is they're purposely trying to stop pre-farming by the time we get the next load of Hell difficulties. And let me explain why. Because the gap is getting larger between these difficulties, you can tell, and the gap between like dungeons and the overworld is fairly large. And the only way to have enough bonus combat rating that once you get to the Hell 8 Paragon level, you can already farm the dungeons, is you would need things like the overtime combat rating, like the Tableau farms, for instance, or your Heliquaries farmed over time to upgrade. This gives you more bonus combat rating. For instance, I can tell you this is going to be a determining factor because somebody like me who's already, I'm below at the moment with like my farming gear on, I'm below the combat rating. Now I can min-max all my gear and I can get to the combat rating, but I'm not with all the maximum stuff, but I've been lazy with both the Heliquary. I haven't showed up to all the raids. I've been doing other stuff. And then Ancestral Tableau, I'm only on the 60s as well. There's plenty of people that are way higher than me on that. Also, the other thing is your blacksmith upgrade. So there's going to be more combat rating from the blacksmith upgrades. So I actually believe this might be like the last difficulty that you can actually do this trick on. I think what they're doing is they're stretching it out over time, where they're bleeding out all of this extra combat rating we've had till we're all just going to be hitting the combat rating right as it shows up, unless you're like a mega whale. If I had to guess why, it's because the next difficulties are really the content in the game. So what they don't want you doing is getting triple stat in every single slot, hitting Hell 8, and automatically being done with the difficulty. And then the only thing you have to do is grind, upgrade resources as your Paragon level goes out and you're burning out. They probably want it, Hell difficulty comes out. Okay, now everyone has to go and actually do the Hell difficulty. But I have a double down in reasoning why they're doing this. Because if you look here at the Essence Transfer System, you can take a look and check this out. In the Essence Transfer System, some of these essences only drop from higher difficulties. For instance, like Hell 6 and Hell 8. So that by time you're leveling up, let's say you're a newer returning player, by time you're leveling up, there's still basically a reason to go to the higher difficulties to access some of the things that are locked to them. I think this is also the reasoning behind the fact it went from 5 to 7 wisps to upgrade, because I think they're realizing people are stacking up too early and getting too many resources before the difficulty even comes out. So make do while the sun does shine. If you can currently pre-farm, or you can get with a group that will help you pre-farm, you know, someone that will do the Hell 8 dungeons for you, farm the overworld with you, etc. It's a good time to pre-farm. The nice thing about it is it's not even really all a waste. If you have a character that doesn't have the max out character essences yet on them, for instance, look, I'm 22 out of 30 here on rank 2, then all you got to do is extract the ones that aren't the best ones. So if you're overworld farming and you have some legendary items, you just keep your best of each spot and then extract the ones that you don't need, and now it's not a waste of time anyway. Player, this is more than likely going to be a better change for you in the long run in terms of like understanding clear goes, where to go when, not so much do I pre-farm now, do I not pre-farm, etc. I think they don't like the pre-farming concept, if I had to guess, and they're mathing their way out of it. This is also fine with me, because I would rather when new content comes out, everyone releases at once and we all farm for the future difficulties when the future arrives, as opposed to I'm farming it 3 weeks in advance. But as it stands, pre-farming is definitely still in the game, unless the Hell difficulties don't math this out like I'm thinking it might. Then it's going to continue to be in the game, and you should get in the habit whenever we have either new updates or new Hell difficulties about to arrive, begin pre-farming the set dungeon items if you can. And if you can't pre-farm those set dungeon items, you're going to be farming the overworld items as much as you can, so that as soon as that arrives, which like I said, 22 days now here until it's out. So why would you farm upgrades in your current difficulty just so that in 22 days to replace them? It's about that time. We're right about the line where if you were thinking about pre-farming, now's the time to do it. Love you all. Consider liking the video, subscribe by hitting the down button, YouTube stuff, and bye.